Alright guys, sorry I'm not there today. I will be back on Monday, so please be on your best behavior today for the sub. And the sub will be reporting back to me if anything goes wrong, and Mr. Watts is there, so it's okay. Today we're going to learn something new, so I kind of wanted to start off talking about, we've been talking about perimeter. And perimeter means to add all the sides. So if I gave you a rectangle, let me zoom in a little bit. If I gave you a rectangle that had 2x and 3x plus 1, okay? To add all the sides, we know that this is 2x and this is 3x plus 1. So we would add them all together and we'd get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 x's plus just those two. And if I asked you for area, remember area means length times width. So I would do the 2x times, we would ignore these, times the 3x plus 1, because we only need one of them. So I'd do this one and this one. And then I would actually have to solve it. So I would get 6x, don't forget that's squared, and 2x times 1 is 2x. And that would be my answer. Okay? Something that I didn't show you, but I do want to show you, is that technically I could split these up, and I could say this has a length of 2x, and this has a length of 3x, and this has 1. So technically I could find the area of each of these individual boxes. So if I was finding the area of this individual box, I would do length times width, which would be 2x times 3x, which is 6x squared. And then if I wanted to find of this box, well, the length is still 2x, but the width this time is 1. And 2x times 1 is 2x. And then if I wanted to find it of the entire box, let's see if I can add another color, of the entire box, then that would have been the whole thing, which would just be 6x squared plus 2x. Okay? So this is the exact same thing we do here. It's just another way to do it instead of arrows. However, starting today, I'm going to start making this a little bit more complicated. Instead of doing 3x plus 1, well, I'm going to keep 3x plus 1. Instead of doing 2x, what if I did 2x plus 5? So now, if I asked you to find perimeter, you could still do the same thing. Add up all the sides. I'm sure y'all would be fine. But if I asked you for area, if you did the length, 2x plus 5, and the width, how do you do that? Because I don't just have 1 to multiply to them. So I'm going to have to do something a little bit different. Okay? We can do the arrows, and I'm actually going to show you that on Monday. But today I want to start off with something else. So remember, this is length and width. That's what we're going to go off. Before I show you the method, I'm going to go over to your notes. The sub should have passed out these notes to you. And we're going to start off introducing this with algebra tiles. So y'all seem to like those on Monday. So I'm going to kind of go with it again. If I tell you x plus 2 times x plus 2, that's like telling you the length and the width. So I'm going to say x plus 2 and x plus 2. If this were a box, imagine with me. Now out here, if I want to draw an x, remember that's the long one, I would draw an x. And if I want to draw two little ones, I would draw two little ones. Please do this with me. You're taking all these notes. We're turning it in at the end of class for 1 complete grade. And then over here, if I wanted to do x again, and then two little ones. So the key to doing this is I'm multiplying, right? So the first thing I'm going to have you do is to draw a big box on the outside. So you see how I went to the end, drew down, went to the end, drew down. And then everywhere there's a gap, I'm going to draw a line. So do you see how there's a gap in between these two? I'm going to draw a line down through there. Do you see how there's a gap between these two? I'm going to draw a line down. Again, right here, do you see how there's a gap between those two? I'm going to draw a line across. Do you see how there's a gap between these two? I'm going to draw a line across. I've just created algebra tiles. Now I want to remind you, what does this create right here? What is this big square called? That's a big X squared. What is a long one? That's an X. And another long one, that's an X. Oh, look, there's another long one. I know it's sideways, but it's still an X. And another long one, still an X. And what about these little ones? Those are just ones. So when I multiply that out, it gives me this, which is, I have 1x squared. How many x's do I have? Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 x's. And how many little ones do I have? 4. And that is my answer. So we're going to do it again. We're going to do it a bunch of times, actually. Now I have x minus 1. And it doesn't matter which one, so I'm going to do x minus 1 and then negative x minus 5. It really doesn't matter which one you do where. It's just your preference. Now, if I'm doing minus 1, what do I have to have? It has to be shaded. And then I have a negative x, so I'm going to have to shade this one. And then negative, I have to do negative 5 of them. 2, 3, I should have done this a little bit smaller. Oh well, 5. And again, the first thing you're going to do is draw the big box. And what was the rule that I said? I'm going to extend that. Once you draw the outside big box, then everywhere there's a gap, draw a line. There's a gap in between those, I'm going to draw a line. There's a gap in between those, draw a line. In between these, draw a line, draw a line. Now this one's a little bit tricky because of all these negatives. Anytime there's a negative, you see how there's a negative right here? That means I have to shade all the ones below it. However, I just said it was tricky, so I'm kind of lying to you, but I'm not going to shade this one because a negative and a negative make a positive x. And a negative are going to make positive ones. So that one's a little tricky. But right here, this one's a positive and a negative. This one is going to be negative x squared. This one is a positive and a negative. It's going to be negative x. Same thing here, and here, and here. All of these are a positive with a negative, so they're all going to be negative x's. So what am I left with inside this time for my area? And by the way, when you see the word product, that means area. That's actually a test question. I have a negative x squared. I'm going to write it up here. Okay. I have one negative 1x squared because there's one of them. I have one positive x and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 5 negative x's. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, just 5 little ones. Now on the last one we were just done, but this one I have 1x and negative 5x. What is 1x plus negative 5x? Negative 4x. And what am I going to do with everything else? Bring it down. All right. We're going to do it again because that was a little confusing. So let's try number 3. I'm going to do 2x plus 3 here. And again, you could do 2x plus 3 on the side. I'm just choosing to do it here. It doesn't matter. And then I'm going to do the x minus 2. And because they're minus 2, they're going to be shaded. We do the big box around. And then we got to fill in the gaps. There's a gap, draw a line. Now, boys, not that I'm picking on you, but boys, make sure you're doing this neat, because if you kind of get sloppy, it's going to be hard to tell which ones are small and which ones are long. So make sure you're doing this neat. Everywhere there's a gap, draw a line. Over here, everywhere there's a gap, draw a line. Again, make this neat. Now these are all positive, so we're good. But here's a negative one. So if this is negative, everything in its row has to be negative. And because the rows are all positive, a positive and a negative is a negative. Same thing here. These are all negative, so everything in the row has to be negative. You should be copying this down with me. So here, I have these big ones. What are they called again? X squareds. And I have these long ones, which are x's. Now these are also long, but what's different? They're negative x's. And these are the little ones. Again, do you see how you can get them mixed up real quick if you don't draw neat? These are negative ones. Sorry, it's hard to see. I should have used different color. So how many x squareds do I have? I have 2x squareds. I have 1, 2, 3 x's. 1, 2, 3, 4 negative x's. Don't forget that x. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 negative little ones. And if I'm going too fast at any point, or you have a question, just raise your hand and pause the video. Mr. Watts can answer. I'm sure somebody in the class may be able to clarify. Don't be afraid to ask questions, because this isn't the easiest thing ever. So speak up. Pause the video if you need to. So again, we're not done, because I have positive 3x and negative 4x. What's positive 3 plus negative 4? It's negative 1x. And then I bring everything else down. All right, and remember product, write area next to it. Test question. You can scratch out number 4. I'm not going to do it today. We'll worry about that on Monday. Number 5. Number 5 is a little tricky, but once you get it, it's pretty easy. This time, I'm giving you the area, I want you to find the outside numbers. The little trick to this is just come up and before, how did we figure out how to go down? We looked at the gaps. Where's there a gap? Fill it in. Where's there a gap? Where's there a gap? Bam. What is this? And that's plus 3. Because there are 3 of them. Same thing to the right. Fill it in. Where there's a gap, fill it in. Again, I have an x. And doesn't it make sense that x and x make an x squared? And be careful because these are all shaded whole along the line. That one is, and that one, and that one. So this is going to be -4. So my length would be x plus 3 and my width would be x minus 4. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. I want you to do this one next to you. All right. For this one, again, draw your outline and then fill it anywhere there's a gap. So I have an x and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, so plus 4. And then over here, fill in the gaps. I have an x, 1, 2, 3, 4, so plus 4. So my length is x plus 4 and my width is x plus 4. What does that mean? If the length and the width are the same, what does that make this shape actually? It's a square. All right, turn it over. For right now, I'm going to skip this one. Let's go to this one. So once you find out the little trick, you're going to be kind of like, wow, why are we drawing tiles? You're going to have some questions on your test that have these algebra tiles, but I'm going to show you a quicker way to do it. Because remember when I said you have this, I'm not going to expect you to draw tiles every time. Okay? That would be a lot of work, especially if I made this 15. So instead, I'm going to show you something called the box method. Do you agree that this picture shows an x and minus 3? And this shows an x plus 4. Right? And when I did all that, I already did it for you. X and x gave me a big X squared. And what do I have right here? These are all what? Negative x's. How many of there? There's negative 3x. And I have x, x, x. I have 4 x's right there. And then can somebody count these for me? There's negative 12. Okay? So now I'm going to show you the box method, which I hope you love. If I have these two as my length and width, if I do x minus 3 and x plus 4, I can mathematically figure this out by finding the area of each box. So, if I do this box first, what is x times x? Okay. Now I'm going to do this box. This is how tall? X times negative 3. What's x times negative 3? Negative 3x. Okay. Now for down here, I know that this is 4. How long is it? X times, it's up here. 4 times x is 4x. And then, last but not least, this box right here, that's 4, because that's how long this is, times negative 3 is negative 12. And hey, guess what, guys? If you look at your tiles, what do we see here? What is in our top right left box? How many of them are here? How many here? I hope some of y'all are being like, oh, that's what I imagine y'all doing right now. So we're going to practice this mathematically, and I hope you love it, and you're like, I hate tiles, let's just do this every time. So we're doing this one right here. And again, if you need me to pause the video, or you need the sub to pause the video, politely ask. So for this one, I want to find the area of x plus 7 and negative x plus 1. Oh, well, I'll come back to it. It does not matter which one you put where. I don't care. I'm going to do x plus 7, negative x plus 1. Okay. Actually, I don't like this. Can you do me a favor? I don't like that that's negative. Let's make that positive. Let's forget the negative right there. Let's just make it x plus 7 and x plus 1. Okay? We are going to do this box. And it's kind of wherever the box is, just go up and to the left and see what's there. That's how you know which numbers to use. Okay? So for this box, what's x times x? X squared. For this one, go up. What is 7 times x? 7x. Right here, go up. X times 1, 1x. And for this box, remember you're multiplying because we're multiplying, there are parentheses. What's 7 times 1? It's just 7. Don't say 8. It's just 7. Okay, this is what I forgot to do on the last problem. I now got to find my product. So I'm now going to take all these out. X squared plus 7x plus 1x plus 7. And what do I have to do? I have 7x and 1x. What is 7x plus 1x? 8x. And then I bring everything down in the front. And that is my area / product. Okay, let's do another one because some of you are like, I got this, I can go on. But some of you have no idea what's going on. Please make sure you're writing this down. And we're going to do another one. So I have 2x minus 3 and x plus 2. So I'm going to do 2x minus 3 here. It doesn't matter, but I'll just do it there. And then I'm going to do the other one, x plus 2 here. Okay. Now again here, we go up and then we go over. 2x times x is 2x squared. And a little hint, this box is almost always going to have a squared in it. For here, negative 3 times x. Right here, 2x times 2. 2x times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, and then x. And then right here, negative 3 times 2. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. And now we just got to bring them out. 2x squared plus 3, oh, not plus 3x, sorry, minus 3x plus 4x minus 6, or negative 6. And negative 3x plus 4x, we got to combine them because they're both x's, gives me 1x, positive 1x. And then I'm just going to bring everything else down. All right, last one, and then you are going to go off on your own / work with a partner, and you need to, well, we'll get there. All right, last one, 3x plus 2. And negative 4x minus 3. All right, negative 4x, or 3x times negative 4x. What are those going to give me? Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. And then x and x is x squared. Negative 4x times 2. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. And then we got an x. This box will almost always have an x there. 3x times negative 3. Be careful. What's 3 times negative 3? We're multiplying. Don't say 0. We're multiplying. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. And then don't forget that x. And 2 times negative 3. Again, we're multiplying. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Okay, bring it down. You're just writing it all down. Negative 8x, negative 9x, negative 6. Oh, they're all negative. All right. And I have negative 8x and negative 9x. What is negative 8 plus negative 9? If you don't know, use your calculator. We're adding them, remember? So negative 8 plus negative 9 is negative 17x. And then bring everything else down. Oops, I forgot. That's my answer. Alright guys, you have about 20 minutes. I want you to try this on your own. It's a half sheet. There are only 8 questions. You have 20 minutes to do these 8 questions. You may partner up. You may work together. Please make sure you're showing all your work. If you need help, again, you can ask a friend. You can ask Mr. Watts. I will be back on Monday to help out with anything you got confused about. On the back, I want you to use tiles. I know now that you know the trick that you're going to be like, oh, I don't want to use tiles. But tiles are on your test, so you need to practice them, please. So on the back, you need to use tiles. On the front, you're just using your box trick. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. Please, please, please behave, and good luck.